So welcome to the second part of the Google Wi-Fi router. In the first part, we did the unboxing and I also set it up. And in this video, I'll show you the app via which you will control it and also give you my review, and also we'll do some speed tests. So you control that entirely via the Google Wi-Fi app, and when you fire it, this is the info. This is the first pane that gives you basic idea about what's happening with your router. General overview, it says everything is good and stuff. If you hit over here, it gives you an overview about your network. It says it's connected to the internet, and we have 3 Wi-Fi points, so you can click on this. So it gives you an idea. As I've told you, the main one is the family room that we have mentioned. This is the backyard. This is the second one that is being extended wirelessly, and this is the one that I've been in this office. That's the last one that I showed you in the earlier video. Again, watch the prior video to get more info about it, and you can test the mesh network and stuff. This is not connected wirelessly. This we connected through a Ethernet cable. That's why we are not getting that. So you can run it, and I did do the test earlier. It's been a couple of days since I've been running this one, and everything has been running very well. In fact, I'm very happy with the coverage, and it also shows you the number of devices that we have. For example, we have 15. So if you click, this will get info in real time. So it takes a couple of seconds and shows you all the devices that you have that are currently connected, and you can press this one for prioritization. For let's say for some reason my iPad, I want to give it priority. I can set that for a couple of hours. So it gives an option of 1, 2, or 4 hours. So this device will get more priority. So those options are there. I'll just get out of this. And if you go back here, we have one more tab over here, and you can do your network check and stuff. You can test the internet speeds, test the mesh network, test this device. For example, if we hit this test network, it'll check the speed of our broadband speeds. It takes about 10-15 seconds and gives you an idea the broadband speeds that you have. I had a 100 megabit connection up and down. I mostly get around that speeds, and that is what I'm getting with this router. And now it's testing the upload speeds, so it does that. And again, the thing is that it auto selects the network between the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz band. Some people might not like it, but again, it just creates one network that is both for the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and automatically the devices are, as you can see, my ISP gives a speed of 100 megabit, but mostly it is, I don't get that rated speed all the time. So about 91 megabit down and 86 up we are getting. That's what we are getting. So we can test our mesh network and stuff. And again, as I've shown you, the priority device password again we can do. And again, these are advanced settings. We can also create a family Wi-Fi. For example, if you have children, this is actually really helpful. From here, if you set it up, you can select, let's say your child has an iPad or a computer. You can group that, and then you can control the access to it, and you can pause the internet. Let's say you don't want your child to access the net at night, so you can pause and do all that stuff. So that comes in that. And we also can actually intelligently control some devices. For example, hue lights you can control. As of now in India, the list is pretty limited, but they are adding. So Philips hue lights you can control from here if you have, and you can also set up a guest Wi-Fi network if you want. So that's what we have regarding the control. Not very advanced controls, but this is what it is. And the beauty of this app is the simplicity it gives. So again, if you want very advanced control, you have to stick with your old router, but I've been using it now for almost 5 days, and it has been running very well. And the connection speed that I'm getting is actually the best that I've noticed till now. For example, let's run a speed test here in my office. We'll be using that third node that we have, and let's just go to speed test and just run it. And later on, I'll show you the speed test that we did at the second point before adding this router and after adding this router. So let's just do the speed test now here and see what are the speeds that we are getting. And as you can see, we're getting about 92 megabit. That is almost maxing out my Wi-Fi connection. In my office, I never got these good Wi-Fi speeds. Trust me, guys. So I'm actually pretty happy with this solution. So as you can see, we got 93 down and 70 megabit upload here in my office. Now let's do the speed test at the second node location, where it's actually doing it wirelessly, actually repeating it via the mesh network. So let's do a speed test here at a different location. As you can see there, let's zoom in. there is the old repeater that we have, and let's see the speeds that we are getting now. Let's go back here and let's do a speed test. And this is before the Google Wi-Fi. It's okay speeds that I get. As you can see, I'm hovering about 38 megabit, you could say almost, yeah, 38 to 39 megabit that we are getting download speeds here. My ISP is about 100 megabit, and uploads I have been slowed down a little bit to about 30. So let's see and how it works after the Google Wi-Fi connection. Speed test again, and the new point is set up, and it's been a few days, so it's been working fine. So let's test it now. And sorry for the ambient noise, guys, but let's test the network now. What's the speeds we are getting? As you can see, we're getting about 65 over here, which is sort of an improvement for on this area, because we never used to get these sort of, and as you can see, uploads I'm getting about 80 megabits. So certainly it has improved, and even the coverage speeds have improved with this Google Wi-Fi mesh network. So what do I feel about this Google Wi-Fi router? That's the mesh network that I've created. Now, it's been a couple of days since I've been actually using it, and needless to say, I'm very impressed with the same. But let me just divide it between the pros and cons, because I feel this is not an ideal solution for everyone. But again, if you have a big house or a big office where you had patchy Wi-Fi network at some areas, even though if you have a powerful router, then in those situations, this sort of a solution can be sort of helpful. And the first thing that I was very impressed is the coverage that I'm getting. Again, I've put 3 points, and now wherever I need the coverage is there. Earlier, prior to this one, I was using a very high-end Asus router, and this is also a pretty expensive router. This I got almost 2 years ago, and this cost about 20,000. And yes, it could provide a little bit of coverage to even my father's apartment, which is exactly opposite to mine. But again, even with this very powerful router, there was a patchy connection, and that was actually solved with this Google Wi-Fi router. The second point, we have put it actually in my father's apartment, and now the entire house is actually covered with Wi-Fi. As we saw with the speed test also, the speed test performance also increased quite a bit after we put this Wi-Fi network. And also coming back to this office, the third point, we actually used a hardwired connection to get it over here, because this is almost 5 floors down. And here also I'm getting very good Wi-Fi coverage now, and even in this area, which is a soundproof room, I'm able to get about 70-80 megabit of speeds with this Google Wi-Fi router. So definitely I would say the coverage has improved now, and I have a single Wi-Fi network across my office and my home. I can even go to my father's house, and I don't have to toggle around. It automatically switches to the strongest point. But again, in terms of control, as I've told you, the app does not allow you very granular control. And again, even the 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz band are auto selected based on the strength of the network and your device. So you don't have a lot of control over that. And again, regarding the overall Wi-Fi speeds and network, it has been very good, and even had about 22 devices connected, and it handled all of them without any issues. So in terms of Wi-Fi speed and coverage, very happy about it. And also I like the fact that again, if your house still has some patchy network, it's a very big house, you can add just one more point to this and expand your network. So it's sort of as you grow, let's say your backyard, you want some Wi-Fi connection, you can just add one more point and it expands the network. So expandability is there, and Google says you can add up to about 6 to 8 points if you require. You get in packs of 3 and 2, but if you have a very big house or a very big office, you can expand the network using this. And also coming down to the pricing, yes, these mesh networks are actually pretty expensive. For example, this 3-pack I purchased in US when I was for $299 plus add tax to that, and the single node is about $129 plus tax. So definitely it's not cheap, but again, this Google Wi-Fi ones are the cheapest in if we compare it with other mesh networks. For example, there are other vendors also that are providing these mesh networks, but those are significantly more expensive. So this is a new technology relatively in the consumer market, and it is slightly on the expensive side. Now moving to the cons, again, as I've told you, it can be sort of expensive if you have a simple room, house or a small apartment, and then I don't think so you need a solution like this. A regular router would suffice, because again, even the single point, if you give, yes, a single point was easily covering about 1500 square feet as Google was telling me. But again, it is sort of $130. That means almost it will be about 9,000 rupees. So it is a sort of expensive, and ideally it is only a great option for houses that are big, and if with a single router you're having connection issues. And also the second point I don't like is that if you look at the hub, it has just 2 Ethernet points. One will be used by your internet connection, so you just have 1 point. So if you have a lot of devices that you want to connect via wired connection, you have to invest in a separate switch that you would have to add. So that is one thing you have to note. And also again, it will work fine for, what do you say, if you have internet speeds up to 300 or 400 megabit. But again, if you have gigabit internet speeds, and I've checked this in online forums, if you have gigabit internet speeds, it cannot get you those gigabit internet speeds over Wi-Fi. The max you will touch over Wi-Fi is about 400 to 450 megabits over Wi-Fi, because this is actually using a 2x2. That means it's a 1200 megabit AC, but again, it cannot utilize the complete 1200 megabit at a given point, because 5 gigahertz, I think so, if I recall, it is about 833 megabits on the 5 gigahertz band, and the rest 300 megabit or so is on the 2.4 gigabit band. So if you have a gigabit internet connection, it will max out the Wi-Fi at around 400 to 450 megabits per second. So that is something you have to be aware of. But again, in India, generally the max speeds that we are getting is 50 megabit, 100 to 150. For those situations, it would suffice. I have a 100 megabit connection, and easily I'm able to get close to that even on Wi-Fi using this Google Wi-Fi. And last thing is the availability in India. This product has not been launched in India. In fact, it's launched only in very few countries, for example, like US, UK. So I don't know if Google will launch this in India, because mesh networks as of now are pretty expensive. So again, I'm pretty happy with this one for the reason I purchased this. It is actually sufficing me, and in fact it is very easy to use, and I'm getting great Wi-Fi coverage. But again, if you don't have a complex house, or if you're not having, what do you say, Wi-Fi issues, you don't need extended range, then I don't think so this is an ideal solution. But again, if you need that great coverage, then these mesh networks are the way to go. I hope you found this video review helpful, and if you're still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.